What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another reaction to the Athletics redrafts. Today we have 2021, which is kind of insane because these guys are 20 years old. Most of them have not even played double-digit NHL games at this point, but I thought it'd be fun. It's probably going to be all over the place. It's probably going to be wild, and I'm currently in Miami, so I made this like 3 or 4 days ago compared to when you're watching it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Redrafting the NHL class of 2021. Beniers takes the top spot. Hughes rises. Okay. Bubble elite NHL player and NHL All-Star. Matty Beniers, number one. Kind of got to expect that. Matty Beniers, obviously, 57 points in his rookie year, was fantastic defensively, won the goddamn Calder Trophy. He's an easy number one. That makes too much sense. The rest of these guys do not have the track record of a Matty Beniers. You could say maybe they have more potential, but they do not proven what Matty Beniers has. Luke Hughes, very good year at Michigan last year. Would I have him number 2 compared to some of the other guys that I know win in the top 5 of this draft? In terms of potential, I think I would, but we haven't really seen him at the NHL level. This was posted like a week ago, so he only saw like a couple games from him. I probably wouldn't have Luke Hughes, or at least I would have him in this tier with, at least in the same tier with Owen Power. I would have probably dumped Luke Hughes in this tier. Owen Power is on the same level as Luke Hughes, especially considering we saw a full season of Owen Power. Put up 35 points. He was fantastic offensively. Definitely needs to work on his defensive game, but at 6'6", with the range and the skating ability that he does have, he's going to be an elite number one defense. Not number one because he's on the Buffalo Sabres, but on most teams in his prime, he'll be a number one. I think Owen Power should probably be in that 3 spot. Mason McTavish, definitely an interesting one. 43 points in his rookie year. I don't like pairing him with Owen Power. I do think Mason McTavish is going to be like a 65 to 70 point guy at least, maybe get up into the near point per game. I'm really bullish on him. I would have had Owen Power ahead of Mason McTavish though, but Mason McTavish in the All-Star tier, it does make a decent amount of sense. So next we got Bubble All-Star, top of the lineup player. Wyatt Johnston. I just got a peek of who is right below Wyatt Johnston. I probably would have had more people in this tier based on who I saw in that next tier. But Wyatt Johnston was a stud. Wyatt Johnston had 24 goals in his rookie year. He was the 23rd pick. Looks like the Dallas Stars already got a goddamn steal considering he's going 5th in this redraft. I don't disagree with this spot. Just the fact that he's the only top of the line bubble all-star player in this tier seems a little wrong. But let's get into the next ones. The top of the lineup players, Kent Johnson, Simon Edvinsson, Matthew Nyes, Logan Stankoven. Just had Logan Stankoven on the show. He'd be number 1 in my redraft. I'm kidding. But this makes sense. I would probably just put Wyatt Johnston in this tier. And these guys, but NHL All-Star, top of the lineup play. Yeah, that's stupid because some of these guys are going to be bubble NHL All-Star types. So I would have moved Wyatt Johnston down. In terms of this order, Simon Edvinsson's dealing with the shoulder injury right now, so it's kind of hard to grade him where he should be. Based on Matthew Nyes, he's looked very good for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I like this order. I do like this order. Maybe I would switch Edvinsson and Nyes, just because we've seen more from Nyes at the NHL level, but Edvinsson obviously 6'5", 6'6", freak athlete for the Detroit Red Wings. He's going to be a stud. It's going to be another goddamn Moritz Seider. But this is not bad. This might be the best one yet. I'm not going to lie, which is saying something. No, not saying something. The other two were pretty bad. All right, Bubble, top of the lineup, middle lineup player, starting quality goaltender. Dylan Guenther, he had 15 points in 33 games last year for the Coyotes. I think he's going to be a future 30, 35 goal scorer. Brant Clark, I would have had over Dylan Guenther. Oh, I forgot about Brant Clark. I would have had Brant Clark at like number 7. I think Brant Clark's going to be a stud. He was like 2 points per game in the OHL regular season and playoffs. William Eklund, I would have moved ahead of Dylan Guenther. Would I have moved him over a Stankoven? Maybe not, but I think William Eklund is eventually going to be very good. Olin Zellweger, freak offensive talent. I'm a little bit concerned with his size. He is 5'10". How will that defending translate? Jesper Wallstedt, that makes sense for a goalie. I understand you can't have a goalie too much because goalies' developments are a little bit weirder compared to forwards. It's a lot more radical. So I think that is a fair spot to have him below Zellweger, but ahead of Coronado. Coronado, starting this year as a rookie year, getting good top 6 minutes. He's been very good. He's been very good for the Flames. JJ Moser, this was a steal of a pick, dude. JJ Moser, I think he played initially right out of the gate in the NHL. Last year, he had 32 points for the Coyotes. He's a stud. I'm happy. We saw in some of the other redrafts, they were not respecting some of these guys that went late in the draft and have already proven it at the NHL level. It's good to see they're doing that with JJ Moser. Cole Sillinger, bit of a weird one because he had such a good rookie year at age 18. He had, I think, 32 points like JJ Moser had last year, but he fell off a cliff hard last year, had like 10 points in 52 games. That's weird. Tate McRae's ex, he's been going through it recently, so pray for him. Cole Sillinger, though, I understand just because he's played so many more NHL games than all of these guys here that you need to have him ahead of him. But at this point, I'm not that high on his potential. Going through this is when we start getting into like these guys have not played in the NHL. Brennan Ottman looked very good in the Rangers preseason training camp. Stanislav Sozville, he played with Bedard last year. He put up pretty good numbers in the WHL, but he did play with Bedard, so that is a little bit cheat codes. Logan Mailloux, the controversial guy that obviously had a legal issue. I'm not going to get into it and get demonetized on YouTube, but he has a lot of talent. He kind of got caved in terms of the preseason, but he's still a very skilled defenseman. Atu Ratu, was really looking forward to him with the Islanders. He dominated the Finnish league. He was like near point per game as a 19-year-old. Didn't really translate once he came over to the AHL. Still think he can be a good player, but I think the hype kind of has died down on him. Joshua Waz is way too low. He's tearing up the AHL right now, the QMJHL. He was an absolute beast. He was a 5th round pick, 150th overall. That is absolutely insane. He's a monster. Tyler Bouchard, he's been ass. Get him out of here. I don't like, but Sebastian Cossa, they have him pretty low. I've been saying Sebastian Cossa, it's a little bit of overhype considering he went 15th overall. He hasn't really backed it up in terms of stats. I still think he can be a serviceable goalie, but he's not this elite goalie prospect anymore. The next tier projected play, yeah, these guys haven't even done much. Zachary Bolduc, I think, should be higher. He was very good for the Quebec Remparts last year. Obviously helped lead them to a QMJHL title. Colton Dock, Kirby's brother, solid. I'm not going to, I don't know a lot of these guys. Fabian Lysell that low. Lysell had a pretty good year in the OHL last year. That's kind of underrating him. That is underrating him for sure. I think that's disrespectful. Having Lysell at 48. Isaac Rosen at 55. He also played in the AHL last year. He was a high pick, 14th overall. Mackie Samskovich, 24. He made the opening night roster for the Florida Panthers. He was above a point per game from Michigan last year. That's not good. Is that it? Nope. We got one more tier. These guys are late. Sam Lipkin is a Coyotes draft pick. Plays for Quinnipiac. They won the national title. He's a good guy. I think he should be higher. And then Josh Doan. He was very good at the college level last year. And then it's a lot of guys that I honestly... Oh, Zachary LaRue is the guy that speared a fan at the end of a QMJHL game. So, yikes, Zachary LaRue. Tristan Lennox, Islanders guy. Not seeing anybody aggressively snubbed. So, yeah, I mean, it's an okay list. It's actually pretty decent. I think it's their best list yet. They did sleep on some of the guys here. Joshua Waugh, Bouchard shouldn't be anywhere close to that. It's actually good. This was actually a good list. I'm actually surprised. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about this? Who'd they massively sleep on? Who did they overrate the hell out of? I want to hear from you guys, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one.